What I find interesting here, Jacob, is, you know, we've talked about EU invading NA with a lot of the top duos moving to NA for this major. But what we haven't talked about is there's now as many Middle East players confirmed for grand finals in EU as there are EU players. Out of the 6 duos that have qualified through VRs today, 3 of those players are from Middle East and 3 of them are from EU. Now, obviously, all competing here on EU, but I don't know, we kind of got some region changes going on during this major. Obviously, we'll see how it changes as time goes on. Still a lot of duos going to be qualifying through consistency and a lot more through more victory royales. So we'll take a look here. We saw this engagement in the previous match, but I don't think they ended up dropping in the same location. I believe it was Cade and his duo that actually disengaged. So now we do have a head-to-head.
Yep, it does look like we got some floor loop shotguns coming out. Chest towards the top. Hopefully you got a nice draw out of that chest. See them once again. As soon as they turtle themselves inside of that building, Mariah and Cade try to go towards the outskirts. Lunex quickly peeks. Decent shot on the Cade, but not enough to build the confidence. There's a huge mismatch in the HP and the shield lead, but it might be a bigger mismatch in the weapons. As Cade goes in, he gets sent right back out, but Mariah's able to turn the tides, even it up to a 1v1, trying to get as much of that loot as possible, and he gets it just in time, or at least the Siphon match to try to protect himself.
Gotta be careful as he's gonna take the time to pop the big pot now. Mariah thinking out options, planning out what he can do here, as Lunex does have the HP and shield advantage. And with Mariah not having enough time to break that wall yet, Lunex might just be able to replace the ramp. But it looks like a change of location, a change of positioning. That's what Lunex is gonna opt in for now. Looking to break the ramp, but still unable to open up one of those options.
There's just not a lot of builds between even the 2 players in this 1v1. Lunex does have the majority of those builds due to the elimination, the Siphon, but he's choosing to disengage. With such few opportunities left in the game, I don't blame him. I almost agree with this play. Play this one out, get your teammate back, rather than entrusting into a 50-50, into a solo play. You've practiced for months and months on end, from chapter to chapter, to try to get your spot in the finals. And now you just want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance possible by getting your teammate back.
Ryan kind of taking a look at the surrounding area now on the hill, trying to see if he can find anyone. But so far, it's going to be more of a waiting game now as we take a look at Clownski, Finn, and X-Force. Clownski and X-Force going to be the aggressors in this engagement. Finn trying to survive, but unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be the end for Finn. One more opportunity in the next match to qualify through the VR. If not, depending on his placement, we might see him in the upper or lower bracket tomorrow.
X4 and Clousy need to start just like that, because they are literally in 26th place. If the game were to end now at 60 points is the threshold, they are 2 points outside of going to tomorrow's upper bracket. Granted, if they get a win, it's a moot point, but it just shows how close the leaderboard portion of today actually is. So with 2 games left, like I said, plan B, you got to start having it in the back of your mind. If you're in a situation you feel like you can't come back from, it might be best to try to play some placement.
Tidy Lens playing sneaky here. Does Yanis and Pixie know that they have 2 opponents close by? I don't think they do. Not yet, at least. If they can line up a 3-2-1, it could be enough damage to permit them to play aggressive and rush on in. But they're inching their way closer and closer, looking for that opportunity.
Everybody's kind of switching up their drops, especially with 3 teams no longer in the lobby. A lot of flexibility. The back-to-back Chulech and Chicho split wins. And I think we're going to continue to see that here, which kind of throws a little bit of a mix up in some of these players' rotations, the game plans overall, where they're getting surged, because they're not going to have the same players located in the same spots going for the same drop every time. But it does look like a crash pad play is getting warmed up here.
Oh, are they going for it? Maybe mistimed the landing a little bit. They did get some connections off the Yanis, though. He has been dropped down to about 30 shield. This Tidy looks for an angle. He's been full box, though. He's actually going to be the one going down, as Lens has been left alone now to run away. The crash pad coming through. That did not go exactly as planned.
Not even sure Yanis and Pixie even expected to fight anybody there. Just a little bit of a blessing, raining points and loot out of the sky. You see a different forecast tower this time around. I talked about the 80% one that's over just north of Sandy Steps. Everything else isn't as guaranteed. So this could be a good opportunity for Thomas and Queasy. I know we've talked about the struggles when it comes to Storm Surge, but if they can get their hands on a forecast tower, two very, very experienced players like this, I think this could be their game.
This could definitely be their game, as I believe we just saw a duo crash padding towards them as we switched. I wonder how that's going to end up. Marius and Sangild choosing the kind of passive strat here in a bush. Doubt that Wox and Ping know that they are here. Was it Flixie and Ping that ended up playing aggressive? This is the same forecast tower, right? So Rico and Flixie now. Already with 2 eliminations.
And that leads all players with 15 elims. That's something we were talking about Nathan for a few of those games so far. And you're seeing more and more teams, because this is a different spot than what we see in some of the other forecast towers. I think more and more teams are moving in this direction, say, hey, we might have a shot at taking this forecast tower away because other teams might not be prepared. But when multiple teams just like this have that same train of thought and that same possible game plan, this is the type of gameplay you're expected to see.
1, 2, 3, 4 duos in the area. This is a kind of risky situation to be in if you end up fully taking an engagement, as Vico and Flixie might have realized that as they choose to disengage. I believe Thomas and Queasy were kind of mountain goating on the side there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go fully aggressive either.
I think Thomas and Queasy took down the NPC, grabbed the Flowberry Fizz, the loot, because Queasy's talking about if I could just get a DMR with a scope on it. And I think that right there was a huge difference maker. Even though they didn't get the forecast tower, they now have the DMR, the Flowberry Fizz, the big pots, and they have everything they need outside of the forecast tower, which they don't usually get anyway. So this could be a big game for Queasy and Thomas, really thinking outside of the box here on a play like that.
Looking at Marius and Sangild, they've got their nice little base set up to trying to get some line on sight on players rotating in the surrounding area. Issue is, though, if you look at the mini-map, the only players close by is Wox and Ping right below them, knocking on their door for a Bob. Raban and Fastroki, though, they're going to play aggressive.
Chap and T don't like anybody coming near their loot, their forecast tower that we see him come after every single game, but Fastroki and Roban, they're ready to challenge. They have a chance. They definitely have their opponents on the run, consistently trying to scramble around to try to find a spot. Fastroki has a different elevation, attacking with different angles. Nobody necessarily finding any success just yet outside of Teeny, who landed a good shot, but a nice haymaker to return fire. Basically down to where they started when this fight began.
Teeny very low now, has to be careful. Chap trying to knock on the door as he gets right on in. Raban gets knocked down. Fastroki quickly with the counter attack. Teeny now left in the 1 versus 1 is going to be able to finish off one of his opponents. Just medkits in the inventory though. Would be able to heal up with a Frillberry Fizz, but what a shot connecting. 148 coming out with just 13 HP. I don't even know if he did that on purpose. He was like looting up and then bam, 148.
He got scared.
Sent back to the lobby. Just shot right there. I mean, it worked out, so I would not be complaining. Flixie as well with another 2.
And Chapatini, I think, might be the best team in this lobby in terms of how the Nitro Splash got changed. When they use it, almost doesn't look like it. You don't expect him to burst through the box like that, but he does a quick burst, a quick pickaxe, weakens the build, and then charges right through. And that's what they're doing to catch a lot of these teams off guard in some of these fights. But man, this lobby just got so active.
Looks like a Fortnite reload game mode with the amount of action we're seeing right now. Vanyak got to be careful, though, from the third party. Gets cracked. Could have been a sniper, a headshot. I'm not even sure. As the Nitro now comes through, but is it going to be enough to save him? He actually blasts Reason into the sky like a rocket, saving himself from the shot. What a way to survive that engagement. If Reason just connected a shot in his box, it would have led to Vanyak's demise, but the deal on the ground now. They should have a finish.
I like it. Swizzy jumped on over. He had options there when he was rotating on over. He could have continued to fight that one out, continue to put pressure, but he saw him run far away enough, and he was separating so far from Vanya to where he just said, let's disengage. This team is not known for necessarily being the most aggressive team in the lobby, and they're just continuing to take it step by step by step. They basically already have that top 25 secured in terms of going to tomorrow, so all they need is this big win.
See how Flixie was able to pick up one of those elims. 4 total now for this duo. Okay, that's a way to celebrate, I guess. Maybe got a, got the hair in the eyes a little bit. I used to do kind of that little flick so you can see a bit more, but Nathan CZB. No eliminations this time around.
Not just yet. And interesting is they land over towards Grand Glacier, uncontested, and they kind of made their way all the way towards the south. They probably used the launch pad that's not too far out there, and with the zone moving towards the north, they can easily get back in position with those nitro rings. Not necessarily too worried for them there. As we continue to look around the lobby, all these surge towers, monuments built in the sky, and this is exactly what they're for, is Della and Fanayan. Just kind of slap dab in the middle of the island over towards Restored Reels, where they know a lot of players, a lot of teams will have to rotate either in this direction or through this direction if the zone continues to pull towards the north.
Yeah, with this zone, I'm actually a fan of this position of Della and Fernine. It's a good surge-based position right now. You can see the amount of duos that are kind of in the surrounding area. And just like you said, depending on where that zone pulls, it has a potential for a lot more players to rotate on through. Depends on how much damage they've done already, but they should be good. Ponasai Snazy finding another pickings here. A lot more aggression in this second to last match. You can see kind of the momentum of the game, the pace of the match having changed.
Do you think a team like them is taking advantage of everybody else? 2 games left, not a lot of time to move up the leaderboard, let alone get a win. Only 2 teams get that. Do you think they're taking advantage of likely already securing their spot due to points? So they're moving around the lobby, attacking teams, so that way they can take them out, obviously, so they have a better chance at winning? Or you think they're just kind of playing standard Fortnite?
I mean, normally in these scenarios, the players at the top, like CZB Nathan, who are just got to maintain the position, want to kind of play it safe and just make it to the end game. But then you have other players, like the duo we're seeing on the screen right now, that might have to play a bit more aggressive as Gooden gets taken out. But now Dedo is left as a solo up against Emil. This is the same duo that fights each other off spawn, kind of on the edge of the map by the windmills.
Yeah, double disengage coming out. Both of those players kind of rotating towards the north. It almost looks like they're going for the same reboot van, though. So even though they disengage, they might meet up again here in this position, as Dedo's going to be the first one to try to land the shots, knowing that there's really only one reboot van in this direction. It looks like he's just trying to beat him to the punch, close the distance. And we've seen one of these before. Battle for the reboots.
This is not a first. Definitely not. I think in the last one we saw, I forget which duos it was, but they ended up getting that reboot just by kind of inching it bit by bit. But it looks like Dedo might not be interested, as he's going to go to a separate reboot van now. Question is, once he ends up getting that reboot, are they going to take their separate paths, or are they going to meet up once again in zone and battle it out for round 2?
Especially since Gutenbrand and Emil, they're the first ones rebooted back in, which means they're going to be the first ones rotating in that direction. They know the team is out there, so in theory, they could try to gatekeep them out as long as possible. But they only have about like 40 seconds. Zone is not too far away. There's a lot of flexibility for either one of these teams to rotate, whether they go all the way to the east, west, or just go straight south. I don't think they're going to meet each other anytime soon.
Curious to see how Malibuka and Murstache are holding on. We saw the issues they had in the initial matches of just not having enough damage. Like we mentioned earlier, they aren't contested today, compared to being the most contested duo in the past 2 seasons. So they got to get used to kind of that surge path once again, finding a significant amount of tags on the rotate, or just making that aggressive play. However, that is a bit more risky, and it's led to them getting eliminated.
Even though he got kind of dropped to just very little HP. They do have the medallion, so I want to see him continue to take those risks. Exactly that. Build up that surge, knowing you don't have to use a lot of the extra heals unless it's to top it off with the last 25. And it's almost less to worry about in terms of Storm Surge. Just like them, Podesai and Snazy, not too far out of the zone. And I think the zone is kind of beneficial for a lot of the players in this lobby in terms of I don't think anybody has a max pull unless they staggered themselves so far out of zone to where it's bound to happen eventually.
Taking a look at the mini-map, trying to see what type of rotate they're going to go for here. Snazy and Podesai. You can see them marking different locations, different options they might have. Thomas HD up in the little tower looking for tags. Meanwhile, Queasy, I'm not sure if he's refarming or what he's doing, but the good news is he's doing something. You have to be efficient, especially when you're in these lobbies with the top tier of EU competitors. You always want to be doing something, whether it be looking for tags, refarming, looting, even just scaring opponents out of your general area to cause them to take a different rotation and free up your rotate for later zones.
And Queasy not too far. Exactly what you said, just farming up. He's staying down low in that position, just trying to get another angle for Storm Surge. As we tune in, Voltiax lost Cool. Sky and Scroll are trying to third party interrupt this as Perhao and Combeck right above. They need to watch out, and there goes that first shot. Peekaboo, I see you as Sky and Scroll now have him boxed up. They're trying to deny that opportunity for him to get out, but Perhao now drops into the box, and that is going to be a finished elimination as Sky and Scroll and their sneak attack finally paid off.
9-9 above now. A little bit of safety, but for how long is it going to last? As Sky is going to choose to use a med kit here. They're not in zone yet. They have to rotate on in, but after that elimination, it should alleviate a bit of pressure for this duo. However, drop down to 63 right when they get in zone. They're going to look for more. Luckily enough, they do have a Nitro ring. Issue is, it's facing the wrong way. So they are going to walk on into zone here. Have they just found their opponent? It took a bit of time to shoot. I think they didn't see them initially, so they were unable to get that quick shot off the rip.
It's a little bit of a blessing for Sky and Scroll because even though they're close by another team, the zone is pulling so far away as he quickly crash pads, trying to use those teams I was just mentioning as a distraction. Luckily for Sky and Scroll, Storm Surge momentarily churning off, giving them a few seconds here to try to get the surge that they need. And since they know so many teams are moved over in this direction, could be another chance for a sneak attack like we just saw.
Slove, quick replay of how he was able to pick up Ju. Hopefully he was able to finish that as well. CZB and Nathan. Nathan can't be far from the most eliminations of today, as he was leading it in the initial matches. It's been overtaken now, but 33 above might cause them to make a bit more of an aggressive play shortly. Their position, though. The positioning is very good in terms of the zone. Now 133 above. They've been blessed for a little bit.
Yeah, the rotations have been pretty good so far. It's once you make it into the 8th, the 9th, the 10th zones is where you find a lot of that difficulty. Not just them, but a lot of other players. As Voltiax, you still see him trying to run. Sky and Scroll finally catch up to him, box him up, take him down. But it did look like they're still below on the damage threshold, which gets tougher and tougher as the zone continue to move on.
Chapentini. I see a lot of players that are kind of around the 100 above threshold area. The ones that are already boxed up, at least, they've done consistently a little bit of damage as the zones have gone on. Look at that pull, though. Chap and Tini have a long rotate to make it into zone. Meanwhile, Malabuka, where's Murstache? Murstache is eliminated once again. I'm not sure what went wrong, but looking at the damage threshold, I believe they were forced into an aggressive play, which has not gone in their favor once again. And this is going to be, what, the third match that potentially would have caused them to get eliminated, but I forgot that we're talking about Malabuka. Is he going to be able to hold on?
He just quickly repositions, getting out of another tight spot. He didn't even stay alive there for that moment. 34. Malabuka's just making some magic happen, getting him closer and closer up that leaderboard. But if anything has taught me today, you cannot count yourself out as a solo. But we can see how Mustache went down, just peeking a little bit too much through that cone.
Wasn't even an aggressive play.
Yeah.
Just a quick beam from the opponents that caused Mustache to go down. We'll see, though, if Malibu can make something happen. We've seen these clutches come from him before. 108 below still. But that can change quickly. You got Eyedrop and Haris close by. He heard the footsteps. He knows they're below him. The crash pad comes through. He's going to look for a shot. He connects it onto Haris. He might even get the knock here. Just one more shot needed to connect. The opportunity for aggression, but Malibu gets cracked. He does have med kits and minis, but is going to get eliminated out of the sky with the crash pad. Good attempt overall, though.
I think everybody now knows no Mustache, no Malibu in the lobby, and a medallion that nobody can use. One of the most important tools in the lobby in terms of that, as Nathan CZB fell from grace just a little bit. We saw them elevated. Now we're seeing them further and further down low, with not a lot of heals to regenerate. 20 on the Flowberry Fizz. Waits for CZB to reunite in the same box. And now they see the pool. Another far pool from the players in the lobby. Majority are going to have to go through it. A little bit of a short crash pad trying to get down that mountain. But CZB just extends himself just a little bit too high up. Almost gets taken down because of it.
Vico, 576 above. Incredible loadout. More than enough utility, consumables, and even materials. All they have to do is stay strong now. They're also in zone. Are they going to choose to play down below here? They have been dominating the low ground, but could this be the match? They want to change things up a little bit.
They're able to get the Machinist Mythic away from Malibu and Mustache, so we'll see who won the trade when he went down as he spots down below. CZB and Nathan becoming a full target. 3 teams shooting in this mix. Vico and Flixie have no reason to drop down low off the side of the mountain, so they're just terrorizing from above, causing a lot of pressure. No matter if they get the elimination or not, that's 2 possible teams that they're trying to get out of the lobby and out of their way.
Oh, Nathan CZB, got to be careful. They're leading the leaderboard currently, not including the players that got the VRs. But with the amount of HP that they have and CZB having gone down already, this might be an early finish for Nathan in the 4th match of the day.
So I was saying the 8th zone, the 9th zone, these later halves of the map, that's where a lot of the struggles come to fruition, as Nathan now has a chance to get CZB back, but he's still getting focused on the other side, dropping down low, layer by layer, having a chance to breathe, but they're not really giving him much. Just a crevice of the zone that he's trying to hold on. As CZB finally gets cleaned up, he knows he can no longer be the hero there, but he's still looking down. An opportunity to surprise attack. 15 builds, no heals. Nathan needs a refresh.
Artist looking like they're thinking of holding that height. Is it too early, though? We saw what happened in the previous match with the amount of duos that contested up above 9th zone. And it looks like they're going to try and hold on.
286 above the damage threshold. Not much for them to have to worry about other than making it from point A to point B. Nitro Splash, Crash Pad, just trying to stagger just enough for the zone to open up, so that way they don't have to fall all the way down below, catching themselves a nice mid layer. And this is exactly why you don't want to get caught in the chaos. Teeny, Chap, they're causing so much destruction down below. Anybody who crossed their path better watch out.
Disruption, chaos, 5 elims now for this duo as they continue to go up a couple layers. They don't want to be in the dirt with the amount of duos that are going to fall down. Podesai, Snazy are going to be the ones up above, though, applying pressure down below as Queasy and Thomas. Are they going to go for it? Are they thinking about it? They're looking what layer they might want to move to, but there's still a lot of time.
Yeah, they had a chance in their earlier games on the day. It slipped through their fingers, and now they're trying to make up for it. Nice elimination on Reason, but does not get any damage for Storm Surge. They're trying to jump ahead, giving themselves a chance to look back, and Thomas is landing shot after shot, but they're still falling further and further below the threshold. Even with elimination like that, I think it might have taken him over the top.
Vanyak now up above, but he's got to be careful as Teeny's taking shots at Chap now. It's Swizzy Vanyak trying to hold on, but can they do it? Just 20 builds left as Teeny is getting dropped down, but can he stay up? He's in his teammate's box. It's looking risky.
Yeah, momentarily takes a sliver of fall damage as well. That could have been a disaster if Chap wasn't there to catch him. Looking all around, another battle for the high ground. Pixie and Yanis are trying to be the ones on top of the throne, but they get denied that opportunity. Forced down low into the mud. But will they go at it again? They have the Flowberry Fizz. They have opportunity, but Artist and Underdog Bro are the ones that will not let it go for free.
Can they hold on, though? We saw what happened in previous matches. The shot comes through. It's connected, but it's not enough. He has to stay up here. His Artist is almost cracked. Drop down to 8 shield. One big shot. It's all it's going to take to knock Artist down. But they're doing such a good job of staying strong here.
Everything was expended. Chaptini, they were the ones that went up, tried to challenge it. Artist has to drop down low, takes a quick tick to the storm, separates from his teammates, crash pads once again, but Pixie goes down. Nice shot from Artist, tries to go back to back, but he loses his teammate along the way. He has multiple medkits. He has the Flowberry Fizz, almost takes fall damage, but there goes the big elimination with Yanis once again solidifying height.
It's been overthrown once again, but down below we have Odin and his duo partner. What's their game plan? Basically no materials left as Yanis is forced to pop a med kit. He has bigs, but how much time? He gets cracked. He gets eliminated. Good night.
Everything comes crashing down. Now Wox even loses his teammate. Everybody running around mostly as solos. Only one duo left in this game, and you already see them down low trying to separate themselves. High ground retake with the crash pad. That's Odin. That's Gold. They get elimination again, but it goes down. Everything comes crashing down. They fall back into the zone. I don't even know who stole that game away.
I think it was Wox. Wox looking like he came from 21st place on the leaderboard, not even in qualifying range, to the upper bracket, to now securing his golden ticket with the Victory Royale and making it to the grand finals. What a great way to get a solid comeback.
That was looking so close. I saw Ping went down and is getting dropped down. Wox was getting dropped down into that fire pit. Fortunate enough, he was able to kind of outlast, and there was that defining moment. Odin and Gold were the last two teammates alive. Everybody else solos. Wox hits that shot there, and his teammate was too far back into the zone, taking damage after damage. They have stolen away that game yet again.
I'm not gonna lie, I was on your boat. I thought Odin and Gold were gonna be able to take it home, but congratulations to Wox and Ping because they made it to the grand finals. But we still have one more match to be played out, and we'll get right to that after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.